Man, guys, Trump just got indicted for the fourth time. The people over in Georgia are trying to say they're going to put him in jail when he actually gets arraigned. Um, that he has until August 25th to get this done, to get over to Georgia and do all this. And they say he's going to get a mugshot and he's going to get put in jail and all this stuff. Guys, I don't know if you know this, but this isn't going to hurt Donald Trump's run for the next election. It's just not. And this is from an independent. I really don't care about Trump personally. Okay. As an independent, did I like the things that he was trying to do for the country? Yeah. Yeah, I did. But I'm not trying to say he's a saint and he's an angel and he's all these things, because he's not. Okay. Everybody's got faults. Okay. But when it comes to this, guys, we really need to look at the full context of these indictments that they're doing, because these are not indictments that are actually going to stick. And they know it's not going to stick. It's just going to interfere with his ability to actually go and rally and gain more support for the independents and moderates out there, because his base is going to vote for him no matter what. Okay, so we're gonna get into the details of this, guys, because it's just crazy the amount of stuff going on. So we got some good articles. I got a good little clip here too at the very end, just showing you the just the depth of how they're trying to get him and how it's really going to affect us as citizens. Okay, just the average people, because if they're able to do this to him, a billionaire, okay, they will do much more to the average person if they choose to do so. And that's what we need to worry about, because I think the federal government's gotten way, way too big. Okay. But before we do, guys, make sure we smash that like button, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already. Like I said, we got a great topic here today to get our Wednesday started off right. So let's hop right into it. And we got here from CNN: Trump expected to be booked at Fulton County Jail, sheriff says. Former President Donald Trump is expected to surrender at the Fulton County Jail, the local sheriff said Tuesday in a statement, along with the other 18 co-defendants charged on Monday in the Georgia 2020 election subversion case. Trump, who was charged with 13 counts, including racketeering, has not publicly indicated when he intends to surrender ahead of the August 25th deadline imposed by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis. The statement from the Fulton County Sheriff's Office addressed the key question of where the former president would be arrested and processed as a criminal defendant. At this point, based on a guidance received from the district's attorney's office and presiding judge, it is expected that all 19 defendants named in the indictment will be booked at the Rice Street Jail. Keep in mind, defendants can turn themselves in at any time. The jail is open 24/7. The news release states, blah, 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 blah. And let's go down here. And they say here, quote unquote, unless someone tells me differently, we will be following normal practices. It doesn't matter your status. We will have mugshots ready for you, Labott said earlier this month on CNN. The sheriff will now have to negotiate with Secret Service and Trump's attorneys about the logistics of Trump's surrender. Defendants who are not immediately arrested upon indictment, as was the case for Trump and his associates, usually negotiate bond if applicable, as well as other terms of release with the district attorney's office. And let's scroll down here. There was one more thing I think in here. Perfect. Former Trump's lawyers, John Eastman and Giuliani, as well as former White House Chief of Staff Mark Meadows, are among the defendants. The indictment also included an additional 30 unindicted co-conspirators, in addition to the charged defendants. Trump is now facing 91 charges across the 4 separate indictments at the same time that he's running for president in 2024. And guys, if we can't come onto the same page with this, okay, this is definitely election interference, what they're doing. They waited until now. Okay, it's been what, 2 years since the 2.5 years since the last election. Okay, why are you waiting until less than a year before the next election to do this? Because you're trying to make sure he does not run and cannot run again. That is the definition of trying to get him. That's the definition of election interference. My mistake. So it's crazy how the people are on the side of this. Like, yeah, let's see Trump go to jail. And I'm just like, why? Do you not understand the precedent that this makes? He's a former president of the United States. And when you look at these indictments, There's no basis on him. Like this racketeering, they're trying to say that he was doing a criminal enterprise. He was the leader of a criminal enterprise when it comes to the election, the 2020 election interference. Everything that he did and his lawyers did, they were all by the book. Like you're allowed to question the election. You're allowed to go through the legal channels to make sure that the votes were correct. And guys, when we're talking about the election, we can't be so naive to think that there's absolutely no fraud whatsoever. There's always been at least some fraud in every election, like double votes and stuff like that. But is it enough to overturn the election? That's the thing. And honestly, every time that they tried looking into it, they just got railroaded. They weren't even allowed, like that lawsuit was tossed out on standing, which means that they didn't even take a look at the case. They didn't even take a look at it. They just blocked them. And to me, I would love to know the full context and the details about, especially like the Georgia election and the one in Michigan, where they put cardboard and stuff up on the wall so no one could see in, which you're not allowed to do. You're not supposed to do that. So it's just crazy, guys, with all this stuff here. But we're going to go into this other article too I got, which explains the 4 Trump indictments a little bit. So the first one is the hush money payment, which I think is the most ridiculous one. Announced in March, this case made Trump the first and only former American president to be charged with crimes. On March 30th, a Manhattan grand jury indicted him on 34 counts of falsifying business records in connection with paying off an adult film star in 2016. And guys, just so you know, that was paid by Trump's lawyer, Michael Cohen, and it was from his own personal account. It wasn't even from any one of Trump's business accounts. It wasn't from any Trump's accounts, okay? But what they're saying is that he then paid Cohen back later on and put it down as business funds. But when you look at that too, guys, look at the details of that. That what they're trying to charge him for, that hush, labeling it as a business expense, that is a misdemeanor. And they leveled it up to a felony because they said it was involving the federal election. So that's an immediate felony. But that is a misdemeanor offense. So this one is just going to get tossed out with the quickness. There's no standing on this at all. And again, guys, I'm not trying to protect Trump at all. Okay, it's not about that. It's about what is correct. Okay, and if there was actual charges, if there was actual hard evidence of this stuff, I'd be the first one to say, okay, I mean, shoot, let the legal system do what it needs to do. But right now, all this is doing is they're trying to make sure the front runner for the Republican Party cannot properly hold rallies and properly drum up support for the next election. And the timing of these indictments is what's so crazy. They're doing it with a year left before the next election. Within a year left of the next election, that's when they're going to do this stuff, guys. And that's what's just, to me, is something that we should all be able to come together on. Like, we should not be okay with the sitting president using his administration to go after the former president and the front runner for the Republican Party. Like, why? Why are we okay with this? Because again, guys, if we allow this now, when are they going to stop? They're never going to stop. Okay. It's just like, do you remember back during the whole COVID thing, how we got this close to having to do vaccine passports? Do you remember how close we were to actually having to have a vaccine passport thing that would almost went across the nation? It's the same thing. When the government does something and they're able to go and bypass our laws and our Constitution and our Bill of Rights, that is what happens. We have a government that completely has no regard to any of our laws anymore, and they're going to do what they want to do. That's not how things are ran in the United States. And guys, we're gonna lose what we have here. Our personal freedoms, we're gonna lose it so quick. We gotta be smarter about who we allow into office. Okay, like this is just a whole nother level. And I just want everyone to make sure that it's not about Trump. It's about what the federal government is doing with no basis. That is what's concerning. Okay. And that's really the big thing. But we're going to scroll down here too. We still got a little bit more here. That was just the first one. And then classified documents brought by special counsel Jack Smith. This case marked the first federal indictment of an American president, sitting or former. The case grew out of Smith's months-long investigation of Trump's handling of government secrets after he left the White House in January of 2021. And this is the picture that kept going around everywhere. And I think it's just stupid because if any of these pictures was actually classified, they would not have published it. So you see what I'm talking about. It's a photo op. All they're trying to do is put a photo op down there and be like, oh, look, he's holding on to classified documents. No, just because it says classified doesn't mean he didn't declassify them before he left office, which the president has the power to declassify absolute anything that he says he wants to declassify. Like, and they're putting that on him, right? But at the same time, they found a whole bunch of documents in Biden's garage in his Corvette. They found him in Chinatown, in his office in Chinatown. They found another set of documents at the Penn State alumni building or something like that, where he had more there. Like, he just has documents everywhere, and he wasn't even president at the time. He was vice president and a senator. And how does he have classified documents? And you're going to put that as a indictment on Trump? Like, get out of here. Just get out of here. I mean, it's just give me something that's real. Like, if you really want to indict him and you think there's something to indict him on, give me something that's real, not fake. And I'll be right there with you. I'll be right there with you. That's all I want. All right, guys. I mean, that's it. So we're going to scroll down here too. And then 2020 election and what many see as Historically, the most significant case against Trump, this federal indictment is focused on the former president's alleged efforts to subvert the results of the 2020 presidential election. On August 1st, Smith issued a 4-count indictment charging Trump with 3 conspiracy counts and 1 obstruction count in connection with the scheme. The indictment stemmed from the Justice Department's massive investigation of the January 6, 2021 riot at the U.S. Capitol by a mob of Trump supporters. And guys, again, it wasn't just Trump supporters. Like, look at the full context of that whole January 6th things. They found at the very minimum, 10 FBI agents on the ground at the time of this. And Nancy Pelosi refused Trump's request to have more National Guard and more state police there for the speech that he gave on January 6th, where he said, go march peacefully to the Capitol. Okay. He said that countless times. I've read the transcript, guys. I've read the transcript. All you got to do is a little bit of Googling, a little bit of research, and you can prove these opinion statements by a lot of these mainstream media outlets to be false. Absolutely false. But it's enough for the average person because the average person doesn't want to look this up anymore. We're too lazy. We're too consumed with our own lives. We don't care. We're just like, screw Trump. He deserves it. He's rich. He deserves it. No, because if they can do it to him, they can do this to anybody. Anybody, guys. And that's what's so concerning. It really is. And then let me see here. On August 3rd, the former president appeared in Washington, D.C. before a federal magistrate judge who gave prosecutors 1 week to propose a trial date. And subsequent filing, prosecutors proposed January 2nd, 2024 as a start date of Trump's trial. Last week, the federal judge overseeing the case, Tanya Chutkan, issued a protective order forbidding Trump from publicly discussing sensitive materials turned over to the defense. She set a hearing for August 28 to set a trial date. Trump has complained that he can't get a fair trial in Washington, a Democrat-leaning city. But a judge would have to approve a change of venue request, and it remains unclear if it will be granted. And then we have this one, Georgia election interference, announced on Monday. The charges in this case grew out of a years-long investigation by Fulton County District Attorney Fani Willis into efforts by Trump and his allies to reverse Georgia's 2020 election results. The investigation was triggered by a now infamous January 2nd, 2021 phone call between Trump and Georgia's Secretary of State, Brad Raffensperger, in which Trump asked Raffensperger to help, quote, find the votes he needed to win the state. And yes, but if you actually listen to that phone call. He didn't say, help me find these votes. He's like, I know that there's got to be 11,000 something votes there. That's all I need. Just help me find them. That's all I need. He wasn't saying make up votes. He was just saying, help me find. I know that those votes are there. I know they are. We need to find them. What's so wrong about that? In my opinion, I don't see anything wrong about that. And again, guys, when it comes to the Georgia election stuff, they're saying that he purposefully was lying about the election. He's saying that he purposely knew that he lost the election, but he was telling everybody that the election was rigged and that he won, that he should have won. If you really think that Trump doesn't believe that he won, you're out of your mind. Trump definitely, with his ego, Trump definitely thinks he won that election. Okay. And do I think he won that election? No. Do I think that there was a lot of stuff that we've never allowed in an election before, like unsolicited mail-in ballots? Guys, I don't think you remember because everyone's got a memory of a goldfish these days. But before COVID, before the pandemic, in order to get a mail-in ballot, you actually had to submit the request for one. You actually had to ask for it. And during this last election in 2020, people were just getting mail-in ballots just sent to them like they're a discount tire coupon. Like, come on. Like, if you don't think that is going to have some level of fraud, and then on top of that, you're able to ballot harvest. And if you don't know what ballot harvesting means, that means they're able to go door to door or go to a nursing home and pick up tens of hundreds of ballots at one time and bring them all in. One person is allowed to do that. And it's not every state that allows that. Some states allow it, some don't. Okay. But I think ballot harvesting and universal mail-in ballots are two of the most egregious things that we are allowing in our elections right now. And it obviously is ripe for fraud. Not saying that there is a ton of fraud that I can pinpoint right now. Okay. But just knowing the facts on how unsolicited mail-in ballots work and how ballot harvesting works, that does not sound like that is a perfectly clean election, in my opinion. Okay. I personally think when it comes to elections, guys, why is it that we can't just have a day or two? Actually, we should just have one day. It should be a federal holiday. Everybody's got the day off. Absolutely everybody. And we all vote. One day. We all vote. Why can't we do that? Why? And I'm not saying we can't have any mail-in ballots, but let's go back to having to request them. Like if you're disabled and you can't make it, or you're in the military and you're overseas, or, things like that. Like, I completely understand mail-in ballots for that, but not unsolicited. These people in the United States, if you care about who's president, you have to make some sort of an effort to actually go and put your vote in. Okay? We have to have some sort of an effort, guys. This unsolicited thing is really what's killing me because we've never allowed that before. Never allowed it before. But we're going to go here too. Let me see. Scroll up. All right, now this is what's concerning on this last one. Special counsel obtained Trump's direct messages on Twitter. The federal prosecutors who charged former President Donald J. Trump this month with conspiring to overturn the 2020 election got access this winter to a trove of so-called direct messages that Mr. Trump sent others privately through his Twitter account, according to court papers unsealed on Tuesday. While it remained unclear what sorts of information the messages contained and who exactly may have written them, it was a revelation that there were private messages associated with the Twitter account of Mr. Trump, who has famously been cautious about using written forms of communication in his dealings with aides and allies. The court papers disclosing that prosecutors in the office of the special counsel Jack Smith obtained direct messages from Trump's Twitter account emerged from a fight with Twitter over the legality of executing a warrant on the former president's social media days after the attack on the Capitol on January 6th. The platform shut down his account. The papers included transcripts of hearings in federal district court in Washington in February, during which Judge Beryl A. Howell asserted that Mr. Smith's office had sought Mr. Trump's direct messages, or DMs, from Twitter as part of a search warrant executed on the account in January. In one of the transcripts, a lawyer for Twitter answering questions from Judge Howell confirmed that the company had turned over to the special counsel's office all direct messages, the DMs from Mr. Trump's Twitter account, including those sent, received, and stored in draft form. The lawyer for Twitter told Judge Howell that the company had found both deleted and non-deleted direct messages associated with Mr. Trump's account. Guys, this is nuts. Absolutely insane. The court papers unsealed on Tuesday revealed that Mr. Smith's prosecutors sought all content, records, and other information related to Mr. Trump's Twitter account from October 2020 to January 2021, including all tweets created, drafted, favorited / liked or retweeted by the account, and all direct messages sent from the received bio or stored in draft form by the account. I mean, guys, this is, again, they're able to go after his own direct messages on social media. If they're doing this to a billionaire, they're going to do this to you for the littlest of things, right? We're not going to get the sweetheart deal that Hunter Biden's getting or trying to get. Hopefully he doesn't get it. We're not going to get that as regular citizens. It's not going to happen. We're going to get the book thrown at them. And when we're allowing the federal government to be able to go into social media accounts and get direct messages, get any personal information that you want, the federal government has gotten way too freaking big, okay? They should not be doing that. Go after real terrorists. Go after people really doing something that's really interfering with our elections. Kind of like Hillary Clinton with the Russian hoax, that Russian Steele dossier. All the documents, all the evidence came out on that. She paid for that document. It is found to be from her campaign, and there's nothing happening there. Okay, that's all fine. That is election interference. Guys, like, what the hell? Like, we all should be on the same page with this. This is getting creepy. I don't care if you don't like Trump. I don't care if you think he's racist. I mean, there's really no basis for that, but I really don't care. I don't care. What I care about is at least us average people coming together and realizing that the federal government is overreaching when it comes to this. Overreaching. If you think that he's so bad and that there's no way he can become president again, then just beat him in the next election. You don't have to try to ruin his career or ruin his life. His career is already over, basically. But you don't need to ruin his life, And this is what's very concerning, guys. It's very concerning because we're just going down a path of no return when it comes to politically charging people that served as president. This has never happened in the United States where a former president has been charged with this. I mean, even with Watergate, with Nixon back then, nothing happened. Even with Bill Clinton getting head in the Oval Office, we okay with that. Economy was good. Like, guys, we just got to be on the same page. And this is very concerning. And we got this over here too from the New York Post showing, not that, we don't need that. This right here, Facebook and Twitter stocked with ex-FBI and CIA officials in key posts. Dozens of former national security officials have gone to work for Facebook and Twitter after leaving government services, raising concerns about the influence of their one-time agencies over the social media giants. At Twitter alone, at least 8 former FBI agents work at the company's so-called trust and security divisions, including its product policy manager, Greg Anderson, who previously worked on psychological operations at the National Security Council. Full stop. Let me read this again. He previously worked as psychological operations at the National Security Council. I don't want anybody working for any social media company that was working under psychological operations. Do we not see like a red flag? Can we like throw a red flag, yellow flag, some sort of flag? Like, guys, this is nuts. Absolutely nuts. Why are we allowing this? Why are we not up in arms about this? I don't care. It's not about Trump. We have ex-FBI and CIA officials working for Twitter and Facebook, the biggest social media companies out there. Well, maybe not Twitter right now, but they're one of the biggest. Like, this is more concerning than anything, guys. They're working very, very close with the FBI and CIA. This is not a capitalist society that we're in anymore. The government is getting their hands dirty with private businesses. They're forcing tech companies to give over data. They're pressuring them to censor people. We got to be upset about this, and we got to speak up about this before it's too late. Before we really turn into China, we really need to stand up and come together on this for sure. Okay. But we're going to go back here. I actually got this little clip. And this is from Congress, okay? Lauren Boebert grills Yoel Roth, who worked for Twitter back when all this was happening, and the revelations, the Twitter files. I don't know if you remember the Twitter files, but the Twitter files came out, and they showed how in-depth the FBI and CIA were working with Twitter on just censoring people and asking them to do things. And I thought it was really crazy, guys. So this is a little 1 minute and 40-second clip. Let's just see what we got here.
Dr. Matt Taibbi, a respected reporter who published much of the Twitter files, said, quote, Twitter's contact with FBI was constant and pervasive, as if it were a subsidiary. Now, I want to better understand why he would suggest that. Mr. Roth, while at Twitter, how many meetings did you have with the FBI?
I couldn't say for sure, but I would
More
say
than 10?
That's a
More than
reasonable
20?
estimate. I couldn't say for sure.
More than 50?
That seems a bit high.
Many meetings with the FBI. Well, we know how many FBI agents worked at Twitter while you were there?
I don't believe any active FBI agents.
Former FBI agents. How many worked there while you were there?
I'm aware of perhaps 2.
Well, we know of at least 9 because they started the BU group chat, BU for Bureau. Now, Mr. Roth, did the FBI ever ask you to share information like users' communication data without going through proper legal channels?
No, they did not, and I would have refused if they had.
That's correct. I see that you denied Agent Chan's request for access to Twitter's data feed. What's sick isn't that you would deny it, it's that the FBI would even ask you for the private data of American citizens without going through legal channels of the law. Now, I want to remind you, Mr. Roth, that you are under oath. Did the FBI ever ask you to do anything that was illegal or questionably legal?
I'm not a lawyer, but certainly not to the best of my recollection or knowledge.
Now, from the hearing that I've been a part of today,
I mean, guys, again, it's just very concerning. Over 9 people that were former FBI and CIA officials just working at Twitter at the time, just working at Twitter. I mean, if we can't come together on this, I mean, I've said this. There's a lot of topics where I feel like we really can come together, all sides of the aisles. You know, left, right, middle. It doesn't matter. Okay, we should all be able to come to this, guys,
you can make as many
and just
videos
realize.
as you want, and you never need to pick up a camera.
And just realize that that this is very concerning, and it's going if this keeps going down this road, they're just going to keep going after our personal freedoms and our liberties as American citizens, and that's what's very concerning. And I just want to make sure everyone really understands the full context and really look at these indictments, guys. They're frivolous indictments. They're super frivolous. Like there's no way in an unbiased court that any of this is even going to stand, because they're saying that he was head of a criminal enterprise, where in all those co-defendants in the Georgia case and all that, those were his lawyers. Okay, he was getting legal counsel. You're able to get legal counsel. It's insane how they're even going after their lawyers and all this stuff, guys. So just be aware of it. It's not about Trump. It's just about the overreaching of the federal government and the attacking of one political party when one party is in power. Everyone thought Trump would have done it. Trump didn't do it. We kind of wish he would have done it when it came to Hillary Clinton, because there's obvious evidence that she should be behind bars right now. She definitely should. All right. But at the end of the day, guys, all we can do is stay informed as much as possible. Try to just be aware of what's going on, and make sure everyone else that you know and love is aware of everything too. So that way, at least when it comes to voting, we can make an educated vote when it comes to this. All right. But I hope we have a great day, guys. Stay blessed. Enjoy your Wednesday. We're halfway through the week. All right. But I'm going to see you on the next video. Have a great day.
Yeah.